that's really, well, where it starts. To become aware of, we become aware of what we know. But really, how did get the knowledge? How did we acquire knowledge? Nowadays, it's more about the academia, teachers telling us. Anyway, so that's really what I'm like to draw attention to here, is the inner directed learning. Learning that is a result of our natural interest. I mean, if you just look at children, they naturally want to find answers to their own questions. But then really what happens when we grow up and when we are told to listen to a teacher and pay attention and take notes, our natural inner directed desire to want to learn, to want to, because we're interested, it comes from the external. And that's, I've experienced that very much so as a child. That, well, in the beginning, life is a matter of I want to learn because I'm interested and I'm curious and I want to find answers to my own questions. It then becomes a matter of, no, life is not anymore what I want to do, but what I have to do. It comes from the outside, through which then we really forget to really ask questions and find answers to our own questions, because then basically what we train children to be is passive. Listen to a teacher, pay attention to a teacher. Don't listen to yourself anymore. But then of course also I later on in life learned that it has to be that way for the system to function. The system which controls this world, which dominates this world. But yeah, it is really that system that is the problem. It's not really people. You know, we all are born innocent and with a potential to be anything, be anybody, to also fulfill our potential. But then as we grow up, we learn. And then we become the way we become as a result of what we learn. And that goes for everyone. The most wonderful person in this world and the most terrible, horrible person, serial killers, dictators, very aggressive people, hostile people, mean people, terrorists. We all become that. We learn that. And it's interesting and it's very powerful once we become aware of that. Because then we can learn to not take things personal anymore and instead open ourselves up to learn about the other person. To learn about what it is they have learned, how they look at life, what their experiences have taught them. It's really important to become aware of that and to open ourselves up to that in order to overcome our superficial differences in religious outlook, belief systems. I mean, politics, it's also part of our programming. We are attached to that. We think that's our freedom. We have the right for speech, free speech. Everybody has something to say, but nobody really is listening to what the other person is saying. So this we forget that we are all one, even though we know that. And yeah, there are countless people who talk about that. We are one, yes, we are one. Love is all there is. But what that really means is something that really requires the practice in order to overcome our separation from one another. And we can do that every moment of our lives. Life is a school, that's really what that means. And life is art, and life is what we create from what we experience. And we have all so much power within us. We are all so powerful, oh my gosh. But yeah, our society doesn't want us to know that because our society needs people who are submissive. Yeah, it's also the reality we all have to face, we have to look at. Freedom is a matter of voting, of individuality, individual rights. And so through this we become separate from one another. Through this we unlearn. Through this we become conditioned to fulfill our function in this world, while we all look for freedom. And we believe then that freedom is a matter of getting my needs met. And so we're living in the me society. Everybody has an agenda. Everybody wants something. And we all are attached to that. Many spiritual leaders, teachers says, detachment is the beginning of all wisdom. So detach yourself a little bit from what you know, or what you think you know, and open yourself up to the knowledge all around you. And it's not about agreeing with that, or especially when you compare this knowledge to what you think you know, that's really where the problem starts. But to just open yourself up to what people know, to what people are saying every day. Because everybody has that need to be heard. Everybody has a need to be understood, to be respected, to be loved. So just open yourself up and learn. Life's a school, that's really what that means. And that's what Realize to Actualize is really pointing you to. Not to just become aware of that, but to really begin on the practice for yourself. To open yourself up to this knowledge, to connect with that knowledge. And as you connect to that knowledge in another person that another person represents, and again, every person represents that knowledge. Then through this, also you can connect to your inner knowledge, to your inner power. And this is the power through which you can create a new world that begins from within ourselves. And that's what the revolution in consciousness is all about, the conscious re-evolution.